I'm here with Abby Ehler, who is the event coordinator for the UniCredit Youth and the PUIG Women's America's Cup. We're almost at the end of the women, Abby, and I really wanted to chat to you about it because I know personally this one means a lot to you, and I feel like we've taken a really big step forward.
Yeah, I think a day of mixed emotions, really quite sad that it's all over, but also elation because I think we've had two excellent events. The racing has been absolutely phenomenal, and I think the takeaways from this are huge. I mean, there's obviously it's been great events, but there's also plenty that we can take away from this and take forward to future events. But I think we've set the scene, we've set the bar high, and it's onwards and upwards from here.
I don't want to discount the youth at all because that's an incredible pathway, but now women also potentially have a pathway into what seems to have eluded us in many ways. I mean, we spoke about it at the briefing, and you and Mel spoke about it specifically, that 1995 moment with all women, but now we've seen 12 teams out there actually taking part in the America's Cup and showing that they can do it. They can compete and race the same boats.
Yeah, I think there's many sort of reasons why we're at this point now. I think partially it's we're in a world where it's kind of accepting of this change, and so we're in that phase. Also the fact that boats are there's no physical elements that would create any potential barriers to women, so that's also a door opener. So I think it's a perfect sort of mix of elements that have really come together. It's a great time for women's sport in general, and this just adds to that platform and what a platform it is to have that standalone event on an America's Cup stage. So I think it's been wonderful, and really looking forward to today's racing.
I'm so looking forward to today's racing, and we will see the first ever team that will become the PUIG Women's America's Cup champions. But I think everyone that's been a part of it, I feel like we've won already in a way. And then seeing yourself and Annie Lush behind the scenes, Anna Osling, a whole bunch of women, myself, Dawn Riley's cheering from afar. But are you jealous?
No, not at all. No, I don't think I would have a clue what to do in these boats. But no, I just feel super honoured to be in this position to try and influence the type of event, the feel of the event, the positivity around it. And we've spoken a lot about this being the first in history, but I think the focus has to really shift to the future in the hope that this is the first of many and not the first full stop. People have said this is a real door opener, but it really is just keeping that door open and making this a concrete calendar event and a pathway into the real America's Cup.
Completely agree with you. I'm not jealous at all. I'm proud. I'm proud of what we've achieved, but you're 100% right. It's what comes next and that next step, and the door's open, and do we have to wedge ourselves in there, or is it going to remain open? From your perspective, what would you like to see come out of this?
I think that was always the critical question, is what is success going to look like for this event? I think success is what goes forward from here, but I think it would be absolutely criminal not to carry this forth, and maybe it's a two-pronged effort where we see a women's standalone event just to continue to increase the pool of female talent at this level, but also some pathway into, either through the youth events or into the main AC itself. So I think that has to be the ultimate goal, that we create opportunities in the main AC event, but obviously to carry on creating that pathway, that pipeline. That's got to be the goal from here.
I think that is an incredible way to look at it, the stepping stones and where we go to from here. And for those who don't know, Abby sort of had incredible success in ocean racing specifically, and now we're looking at this foiling pathway, and the pathways are changing. But now we have all of these women who have closed the gap a little bit, but all they're asking for is more time. That seems to be something that's echoing, is more time. What is the best way to give more women more time to actually get access?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the same for across the board. You know,
Yeah.
it's not a women's specific issue. It's
Agreed.
an issue for anyone that's trying to get into this event. And I think we've seen that from the invited teams that have come here, performed absolutely amazingly against the AC teams who have had more time in the water. But yeah, it does come down to time on the water and whether that is influenced by how much budget a team has. So I think we've got to hope that this AC40 circuit continues, and there are other foiling pathways now, such as the Wasp, the Moth, the 69F. It's a growing trend in the sailing disciplines, and we've just got to hope that those opportunities remain, continue, grow, and onwards and upwards.
It's changed so much. I'm looking around here, and the shore crew that are helping Athena Pathway, they've in particular been getting ready. We're actually in the sail loft, it's raining. We have Ellie Aldridge, for example, who just won the first female gold medal in women's kiting. Yeah. And so now we have all of those pathways as well. And I think the world, as you mentioned, has accelerated substantially. If we go back to when you did Team SCA, for example, the world has changed so much since then, where that was a standalone anomaly. And now, as you mentioned, perhaps that's just going to keep spreading.
Yeah, I think it comes back to that sort of that cultural shift that we're having across, not just in sport, and it's normalising men and women competing together. So, and we're slowly seeing that throughout not just our sport, but in general. And I think it's we've made that crucial step from being that one amongst many and almost feeling a bit alien in the sailing arena to now feeling very much part of it. And so I think that's a huge change in itself, and just normalising competitions where we see men and women competing together, and we've seen that in the Olympic classes with these mixed gender fleets. We're seeing it now more in the ocean race, and with the IMOCA boats it's become more of a, there's not such a a shock, and so I think that will feed into this event, and it's definitely a change that's happening. Maybe not quite as fast as some people had hoped for, but it's definitely a change in the right direction.
And now just finishing up, looking at you, that bow chick that I knew back on the Mum 30s, to Team SCA, to Brunel, to now running this event. It's, as you mentioned, incredible privilege, but it's so amazing for all of us to see you in that role, because we trust you and we trust your judgment and everything you've brought to it. Will we see you in a similar role again?
I would love to. I mean, I've really, really enjoyed being a part of this, being able to sort of set the scene. I've loved it, and I think I've really sort of fed off the energy, the excitement, and just the interaction of teams. We've seen so much support from the AC teams to the invited teams, and just that cross-pollination is just fantastic to see. And even the youth teams are here helping the women's teams, and vice versa during the other event. So I think just to create that space for people to evolve, to grow, to enjoy, and to be part of something special. I've loved every minute of it, and I would love to do this again.
Well, hopefully we see that in your future. Thank you for everything you did, Abby. Legend.
Thank you, Nick, and to you too.